This video was never meant to surface. What you're about to hear has been hidden for decades, not because it's fiction, but because it's too precise. This isn't just another tale of near-death experiences. It's a step-by-step account of what happens to the soul after the final breath. The source: the unpublished trance readings of Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. Out of over 14,000 sessions, some were never included in any official book. Why? Because they were too mystical, too detailed, too threatening to our standard picture of reality. According to Cayce, death is not the end. It's a transition, and the journey unfolds through multiple levels. Each level reveals something about us and about the universe that most people never imagined. You do not vanish. You do not become nothing. You remember. But here's the warning. Some souls don't complete the journey. Some get stuck between worlds. And some return. Not by choice, but because they never finished what truly matters. Today we'll explore where the soul really goes after death, what it feels, why some return while others disappear forever, and most importantly, how to prepare while you're still alive. If you've ever wondered, is there something more? Maybe it wasn't just curiosity. Maybe your soul is ready to remember. Let's begin. When the body exhales for the last time, the soul inhales for the first. In a 1923 trance reading, Cayce described death not as an ending, but as a return. The body weakens, but consciousness sharpens. The soul detaches, almost gently, almost unnoticed, like stepping outside yourself. You see your own face, you hear someone crying, and suddenly, peace. No fear, no pain, just silence. In his notes, Cayce wrote, "The soul does not depart immediately. It lingers, it watches, it feels." This phase is called the transition phase. It's where many souls become stuck, when death is sudden, when there's trauma, when the heart holds fear, rage, or grief. The soul doesn't move forward. Cayce called them wandering souls. They don't realize they've died. They speak, but no one hears. They knock on doors that no longer exist. They cry out names that now echo in the void, he wrote. But if the person died with peace, acceptance, and faith, the soul begins to move. First level, the sleep state. Cayce described this level as a mist, a soft, quiet realm. You don't know where you are, but you're not afraid. The soul sleeps, restoring itself from the strain of life. This sleep can last moments or years. It depends on how intense the life experience was. The soul rests like a traveler after a long journey, Cayce said. But even in sleep, the soul is preparing for what's next. Second level, the life review. This is not judgment, it's understanding. You relive your entire life, not with your eyes, but your heart. You feel what others felt because of you. You don't suffer, you comprehend. Cayce wrote, "The soul does not label actions as good or bad. It senses only whether they brought it closer to the light or further away. Here, you don't meet God. You meet yourself, stripped of ego, stripped of masks. It's powerful, but dangerous. If a soul cannot accept what it sees, if it clings to guilt, shame, regret, it stays, looped in its own memories." Cayce called this the sphere of the unconscious, a dream without awakening. These souls remain near the living, he said, not as ghosts, but as shadows of unresolved pain. Ever felt a strange chill in the room? An invisible presence? Maybe a soul was waiting, not haunting, just unfinished. There is no gap between life and death, only a path, and it's different for each soul. After review, the soul moves, not into heaven, not into hell, but into layers of frequency, not places, but states of consciousness. Level 1. The waiting zone. Cayce called it the space of pause. Here dwell the souls who still cling to Earth. Those with unfinished business, sudden deaths, unresolved trauma. It's not punishment. It's hesitation. They are caught, Cayce said, between the pull of the body and the call of the light. These are the spirits people sometimes sense. Not evil, just lost. Level 2. The fields of light. When the soul is ready to let go, it rises. This level is filled with warmth, recognition, and a strange feeling of returning home. Not to a location, but to a truth. Here, Cayce said, the soul remembers itself. Not through suffering, but through love. You encounter other souls, not by their faces, but by their frequency. You recognize their essence, their energy. Some you knew in this life, others from before. Level 3, the Hall of Intentions. Here, the soul faces a choice. Return to Earth, stay in the light, or go even further, beyond the cycle of rebirth. This is the crossroads, Cayce wrote. No one forces the soul. It knows what it must do. If you still feel the call, you go back. If fear is gone, you ascend. Level 4, the Lightbringers. Some souls choose not to reincarnate, yet still serve. They become guides. They whisper in dreams, nudge us through intuition. They are not seen, Cayce said, but they are felt. These souls have returned not for themselves, but for us, to help others complete the journey. Level 5, the Source. This is not a reward. This is liberation. No more separateness. No more questions. Only light. Cayce didn't describe this with places, only metaphors. It is the place where there is no I, where pain ceases because there is no division, where everything is yes. Few souls reach this immediately. Most spiral back through the path until they're ready. Life is not assigned, it is chosen. According to Cayce, the soul that chooses to return does so with intention. It selects a body, a family, a country, a time in history. Even its struggles are chosen, not for punishment, but for growth. You don't choose pain, Cayce said. You choose transformation, and pain often walks beside it. The soul knows the dynamics it's entering. Sometimes to learn love, where there is none. Sometimes to teach, even in silence. Sometimes to repay a spiritual debt. Cayce emphasized that soul families often reincarnate together. Sometimes as lovers, sometimes as enemies, sometimes as parent and child. Why don't we remember? This was Cayce's most asked question. If I've lived before, why don't I recall it? He answered, because you came here to live this life, not the last. Soul memory doesn't speak in words. It speaks through unexplained fears, unshakable passions, talents you never learned, and dreams that feel more real than waking life. After birth, the soul doesn't enter fully. It merges slowly with the body. During the early years, children often say strange things. I was in the stars before I came. You were crying, so I chose you. I'm not new. I'm back. Cayce urged parents to listen carefully. Before memory fades, truth speaks. How do we know our soul purpose? You don't need magic. You need honesty. Ask yourself, what do I do even when no one pays me? Where do I go, even when it hurts? What would I stand for, even if I stood alone? Cayce said, the soul whispers through passion and pain, not through prophecy, but through the invisible compass inside you. The soul is not a passenger, it's a traveler. Every life is a chapter, every chapter, a choice. Some souls don't return because they become light. Others return. For us, they feel too much. They never quite fit in. They hear silence deeper than noise, because they've been here before. They know that time is not linear, and that death is not the end, just the next level. If you've ever felt like this life isn't your first, you're not alone. The soul doesn't end. It continues, through choices, through light, through memory. Now that you've seen where the soul goes after death, what if you could remember where it was before birth? Because some memories don't belong to this life. They belong to the space in between. Watch next. What happens to the soul before birth? Uncover the missing chapter, the one no one talks about, until now.